All right, and we are now live. Peace to the family out there. You are in store for another classic episode. Y'all love whenever the God Rod Hayes comes on the channel. Yeah. So peace, shout out to everybody in the chat. A lot of y'all waiting. Rod Hayes, man, welcome back to the show, my brother.
What's going on, Brother Rich? Hey, you just said the guy right here. You remember a while ago I had took a hiatus and I was mad, and you was like, "Well, what you taking a hiatus for?" I said, "Cause these motherfuckers think I'm a damn celebrity."
Right. Early in this year, right? Was that this year or
No,
last year?
that was like last year,
Last year, I remember that. Yeah.
right? And I keep trying to I'm like, I'm not no celebrity, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I mentioned that because you reiterated that on the live you did about a week ago.
What I said?
It was like, so some of the people, they look like Rod, like a guy,
Oh yeah. I remember.
right?
Yeah.
Right. So, and I had already had that conversation with you about me and misperceived as a celebrity, and ain't nothing I'm doing got nothing to do with entertainment.
Right, indeed.
Right. So I just wanted to mention that because um, a lot of people probably didn't know where you was going with that. And I was
Okay.
like, man, he quoting me.
Yeah.
It's like
You
I'm not here for that. Like I don't see people as greater than or less than I am.
indeed.
You know, so um, I respect people for the work they put in, and hopefully that's what they respect me for. But
Indeed.
all that celebrity, I'm not with that celebrity worship bullshit. I'm
Yeah.
not with it. I'm not with it. But we can honor and respect each other within our lanes without being offensive to other people. Like it's a lot of people that I just won't listen to, but you don't hear me on here bashing me
Right. Yeah.
because I know we all got to fight the fight from a different angle, and we have to fight it how we see it. And if everybody's seeing everything the same way, we wouldn't make no progress.
At all. Let me ask you this real quick, Rob, before we start the show, since you started like that and we talked about the whole celebrity worship thing. What do you think about, because you and Billy both are into the whole Anunnaki thing, when he talks about this worship gene? What's your thoughts on this worship thing gene? Because maybe people got the worship gene. Maybe that's why they just can't, they have to see you like a celebrity because they got that worship gene in them. You know what I'm saying?
It's also called the alpha gene.
The alpha?
Yeah. So you ever see a wolf pack, right?
Yeah.
Wolf pack got an alpha. What's the alpha job? He to be the leader, right?
Yeah.
Humans are pack animals.
Mm.
Gorillas is pack animals. All pack animals gotta have an animal that take the lead when the appropriate time comes for the situation.
Mm-hmm.
Right? All pack animals don't operate like that. Like the human, for instance, the most flashy, glamorous, glitzy person to us, that's who we follow.
Mm.
If you notice, most of the time I be on these labs, I be disheveled in a mofo.
You be chill. You mean chill mode? You be on chill mode.
But it's also Ride the Madman. Because you gotta remember, when I first came out, people called me crazy. I was, bald head, clean shave. They're calling me crazy. So I said, okay, since I'm crazy, I might as well look the part. Maybe they'll listen to the message then.
Wow.
Right? So I became Rod the Madman, based off a character of Khalil Gibran called John the Madman.
Wow, that's deep. That's deep.
So in the John the Madman story, all these priests was out there BSing the people. But John was the only one allowed. He had his own Bible. Then nobody else had a Bible but the priests.
Right.
So he reading what the Bible saying this to the priests, like them ninjas lying. Right? So he started telling the people, y'all stop following them frauds and them fakes. They lying to y'all. Just like the clergy today.
Right.
They all lying. They know they lying because they taught in eschatology school, the ones who went, that the origin of the Bible and the origin of the stories came from Kemet. And ancient papyri became the Bible over time, but they was derived from different locations. Right? New Testament is not written in Greek. I mean in Hebrew. It's written in Greek. So while we looking for Hebrew definitions to define the Greek writing, that's ass backwards. And that's why I keep thinking that Isis is Jesus and Jesus is a man with feminine qualities. A sissy. Right? So we rather believe in Jesus as a pale-faced, hippie-looking metrosexual surfing on a cloud than to accept the reality that the Dark Mother, the Black Madonna, Set, Isis, Mary, Mother Mary, Hail Mary, Mother of God. Well, what do that make her? Right? So they told the story, but they gave you an innuendo to mislead you from it. So in John Madman, he telling them, stop following them frauds. And the people was like, John crazy in the mud, John crazy. But over time, everything John was saying was materializing like what you called and asked me yesterday. It's not that I'm prophetic, is that they showing us everything, and I'm telling you that I don't see the same thing that everybody else do. Right. And if you see what I see, then this is anticipation. This is what you're gonna see next.
Yo, Ross, speaking of prophetic, so I did a show with Griff, and a couple of people emailed me, and they was like, and even in the chat, I'm looking at the chat, we was talking about the whole Trump thing, and they're like, yo, that's exactly what Rob was talking about. Now I done did so many interviews, I done asked thousands of questions. I'm like, damn, what did Rob? Because you don't listen, hold up, you done said so much stuff that came to fruition. And you be saying things, and I'll be like, Rod, get the F out of here. I'm like, Rod, I ain't going for that. And then 5 months later, it happened or something like that. So when they said this, I said, oh shit, what Rod said down. So what tell the people, what did you tell us was going to happen that happened for them to say the thing with what went down in DC with the National Guard and all that? What exactly did you say on my program, my brother?
Before I tell you that, they just started shipping them into Chicago today.
No, I did not know. No.
I woke up to the receipt this morning. The lady was filming them rolling down the streets of Chicago. So that being said, what I had told you, Brother Rich, is that in the process of returning everything back to the tribes, they had to reverse engineer everything. DC had to first be reclaimed by the Republic from the Crown of England Corporation, the Crown Corporation. And once that happened, we knew it took place because Donald Trump renamed it the District of America. Remember that?
Yeah.
Okay, then once he renamed it as the District of America, now the next phase before they give it back to the tribes is they have to dismantle the structure. And in order for them to do that, they have to have security in place to prevent an outside force from instituting a hostile takeover during the changing of the guard, right? So the National Guard have to be rolled out before the transition to government completion is announced to the people. So you remember I told you on that one show, I was like, when you were like Virgo season, I was like, yeah, somewhere between September and October, we gonna see something big, but I don't know what it is. I say, but every sign is leading to something big being popping off around September, October. Now put a pin in that because I'm gonna come back to it. Now, the National Guard, the test run last year was in New York when they took over the subways, and I told everybody that's a test run for a national rollout. The purpose being is that everything has to be secured to keep us from being invaded by a foreign force while the transitional teams is reinstituting a new form of government right in front of everybody's face. What you think all them executive orders is for, right? This is the foundation for the fall of the cabal, which was actually the royal crown of England and the papacy of Rome. They was the ones that was holding the purse strings to the war machine in the Pentagon. And the Pentagon is operating under the control out of bankers from the Federal Reserve out of DC. So in order for us to take it all back, they have to deploy the National Guard. I did another video about a year and a half ago, and I was like, when they roll out the National Guard, tell y'all children to honor the curfew, not because we scared of them, but because they finna give it to us. They finna give it all back to us. And the easier it is to make the transition, then the smoother everything go, the faster we can get it back. But when we put up a fight, when somebody trying to do something to assist you, like a drowning person, you can't go and pull a drowning person out head on. You got to come up behind them, because if you don't, they gonna drown you while they drowning. It's the same philosophy. I've been walking everybody through the continuity of government over the last 5 years. And about 2 years ago, I started telling y'all we're at the beginning of the end of the continuity of government. Then earlier this year, I said we at the end of the end game now. And that's when I was able to say, okay, based on the movements of everything going on in the government, they about to roll the National Guard out before September, right? Because something big is going to happen between September and October. That's where the P in at. Now, the irony to that is that they have several massive UFO ships that's supposed to be here, one November, one October, and one is sitting right next to the moon with a bunch of smaller ships. So all this stuff, they already reported. Right? I'm not the reporter. I'm just reporting what the reporters reported. But what do it mean, right? And when we liberate Earth, we liberate galaxies. And the
Sister
one
Myra says that. Miss Sister Myra says that, yeah.
Yeah, because there's a tyranny that came to Earth that didn't have nothing to do with us, that had to be purged. The side effect of that is everywhere that was affected before they got here get the same remedy that we institute once we overthrow the wickedness. This is your 6,000 year rule of the devil. He got 6,000 years to either take over and make us all slaves, or one of us gonna break out. Right.
And Rob, real quick, because literally I was just about to say this. Somebody in the comments just said the question I was about to ask. Now, Rod, all right. So if this
the government ain't got nothing to do with it.
Rod, let me real quick, Rob, real quick.
Okay.
Let's bring it back. Let's make this logical. If this is a movie, say this is a movie. We all talk about a game, right? And we analyze any movie, Rod, with a bad guy. The bad guy goes out with a bang. The bad guy's not giving anything back, Rod, like that. It's not no ending where he just hands it back. The bad guy goes out with a bang, Rod. That shit is a hell of a ending of a movie. What makes you think this movie called Planet Earth 2025 episode whatever is going to be any different? Why would the bad guy just give something back? This so-called bad guy.
There you go. The thing is, the bad guy ain't gave nothing back. We took it back.
How?
By oral tradition of the ancient ways. In the oral tradition of the ancient ways, all we got to do is show who did it, how they did it, when they did it, where they did it, and why they did it. You know, so we went through who, what, when, where, why, and how. We ended up discovering who the perpetrator was. Putting it in the public domain allow all of the tribes to access the information. Whether they believe it or don't believe it is irrelevant to the underlying fact that one of us, Earthborn, spotted the anomalies and pointed them out. And most of us thought that the one who pointed them out was a madman. Right? But he ain't the only one pointing them out, but tying all of the other people pointing them out together is the defining difference. Blood in the right, Earthborn. We don't got the blood in the right. Our energy is galactic, intergalactic, but our physiology is Earthborn, right? So if your blood is tied to the liquids of the earth, your platinum group, your whole periodic table of elements, it's all in your blood. And by activating that energy, you get to see the shift. And then they gave us what's called signs to read to determine if all of this stuff is fantasy fiction or a well-placed plan passed off as a prophecy. I think it's a well-placed plan passed off as a prophecy when they tell you it's going to be earthquakes in diverse places, flooding, tornadoes, and hurricanes, and that it's going to be volcanoes erupting that haven't erupted in years. And all of that stuff has been going on in the last 60 days.
Indeed. No, you're right. You're right.
It's a convergence of signs and symbols, Brother Rich.
Mhm.
And if you know how to read the symbolism, remember, which one of them was said that symbols is gonna be their undoing. When we learn how to read signs and symbols, we gonna be able to see everything they doing and expose it to the general public. That's what people like. Everybody got their role to play, and you got people like Brother Billy Carson. He telling you that all this stuff is written about as the cycles in the ancient times and what they did to the genome, and all of this means something. But when you only looking at a one-dimensional perspective and you're not looking at it from a unified field theory, you will never put it together.
Indeed. Yeah. You know, and so all right, so I'm glad that you spoke on that because like I said, you said a lot of things was gonna happen and they end up happening, and I'm like, this dude Rod be on the money. So I'm like, I gotta, I forgot about that. I want to thank everybody for reminding me of that. I also want to talk to you, Rod, about this thing. A lot of people said that NASA, and some people said that it was a fake story. I'm not sure if it's real or fake, but they said that NASA said that they seen African American looking aliens coming off a cigar-shaped ship. Now I know a lot of the speakers in the past talked about cigar-shaped ships. So, and I had a conversation with you last night, and you mentioned something to me about Black Adams, and I'm like, Rob, man, what the heck? I'm like, Rob, we gotta talk about this, man. You talked about Inky and Black Adam, so talk to me about these ships. Whether I don't know if the story's real or not at this point, but talk to me about these ships, these African American looking aliens, and what exactly is Black Adams?
Okay, we're gonna get into all that real quick. So the origin story of the cylindrical ship that landed on an army base in Florida. The guy who was telling the story was being interviewed on some news channel overseas somewhere. And she was asking them to describe the aliens that was on the cigar-shaped craft. And he was describing it, and he said, the best way I can describe them is they look like African Americans, right? So I'm already knowing what he's talking about because when you say African Americans, he is looking at it from the Europeanized story of the ancient ones.
Right.
Right. So the signature is the goatee, beard, and the afro.
Mm-hmm.
Right. For clarification, if you go to my Facebook page and you look at my background, it's gonna have one of those guys on there in artistic format. Right. Let me show you. So these are the sons of Inky. This is on my
Okay.
yeah. So we used to call them the sons of Inky for a reason. Everything that you see,
Rod, they look like you, Rod, with the goatee and the afro, man. They look like you.
but look, because they look like the indigenous Americans.
Indeed.
Right. Okay. Now the cylindrical craft is not an Enlil craft. Enlil craft look a little different. Inky, he got penis envy, like he loved his phallus, right? So all of the phallic symbols, your obelisk and all of that, that's Inky worship. But you're not going to never see it without it being by a Vesica Pisces, right? Which is the Yoni, because he don't believe in two phalluses occupying or two kings ruling the same kingdom, right? So his ship is cylindrical and it's a telltale sign. They even describe it in several Bible stories as being large cigar-shaped craft by description and measurement. Those are Inky's craft. Enlil use a different type of craft, right? So when you see the disc-shaped stuff, those are lesser scientists with different areas of control, right? The little fast flying disc, any of those craft can warp. They can warp. I mean, they can go from being over here and in a moment's notice, they on the other side of the world, right? Because they draw two spaces together and they jump energetically from this space to this space, which instantly moved them either around the world or even to another planet somewhere else. By connecting the two dots, it's like folding space-time to make the two dots come together, and then it'll make a like a electrical arc. And the arc in the inside of it, it'll be like a wormhole, and it'll pop. They'll be in a whole nother location. It's called warping. And the people that's on there, I refer to them as Black Adams, based on the movie Black Adam, which is the origin story of Shazam. The difference between the Europeanized Shazam and the Black Adam played by The Rock, if you pay attention, The Rock as Black Adam was created by using the energy of multiple Egyptian deities, whereas Shazam used mostly Greek deities and maybe a couple of Egyptian deities. And that was to show you a shift in the control of the energies of the earth. But the Black Adams they vibrate so spiritually high, projectile weapons don't affect them. And if you don't know how to make the certain type of energy weapon that affects them, you can be shooting them all okay with your switches and they'll be standing there looking at you like you crazy because they in a different frequency and they just outside of the 3D where that stuff can't affect them. And so I call them Black Adams. I can't figure out no other name to call them because that's the closest people that look like us other than Simeon Toko. But Simeon Toko wasn't from the warrior class. He was from the priest class, or else it would have been a whole different story they was telling. And even in the Simeon Toko story, he say, we coming. There's a lot of us. You asked for us, we gonna be here. He said, but I ain't gonna tell you when they coming. Now they know they coming. The only reason I can tell you that they know they coming is because they reported that they know they coming. They put it out in the public domain. That means it's inevitable and they can't stop it. They don't put nothing in the public that they want to conceal from the people because one of us is going to have enough ability to explain to people what they're hearing and seeing that they're going to actually click that this is actually taking place. Your so-called rapture. But the rapture is a story made up by a Southern Baptist evangelical fire and brimstone preacher. The rapture wasn't even part of biblical canon before the Bible came to America, right? So now that the story is in place, they got a similar story in the Anunnaki tablets where they said they was coming back for the Anunnaki that they left behind. So good riddance.
Who's the Anunnaki they left behind, Rod?
They never say. They left some scientists. In the Christian tradition, which comes out of the Rosicrucian order, they refer to as the Grail lines.
Mhm.
the golden ones, and these was your historical king figures and emperors of ancient times, like your Genghis Khan or your Attila the Hun types, who actually had large kingdoms that they ruled as vassal warlords. Because half of the contingent that stayed was warriors, and the other half that stayed was scientists and artisans.
Right. Right. So this Simeon Toko, because I've heard a lot about him, especially from Hank Risen's son. So he's from the bloodline of Inky then, Simeon Toko.
It's a very good chance. But see, Inky is the science line. So
Right.
they got other brothers and sisters. We only ever talk about Inky, Enlil, and Inanna because they are the ones that's actually fighting for the heritable birthright to Nibiru. Inanna got first right to Earth and Nibiru in the Anunnaki pantheon, and Enlil got first right to Nibiru, and the only way he can take both is he had to conquer Inanna in war, who just so happened to be married to Enki. So Enki not buying it. You're not finna overthrow his wife, but then he got sons that also the sons of Enki. They don't play. Today, the human hybrids is your Dinka tribe, your Zulu tribe. Zulu means skywalkers, right? When they tell you they Zulu, they tell you they star walkers. They walked from the stars, but they didn't walk from the stars like you travel across land. When they say they walked from the stars, they folded space and time and came through the portal, right? So it's the same thing with the Dogon. The Dogon come from a priest class. That's why they don't be in all of them wars going on with the tribes that surround them, because they not here for war. They here to maintain the frequency and vibration among humanity so that when the time comes, we can wake up from the slumber. They not supposed to do nothing else. Right? So then you got your what they call your Bantu lines, your Bantu West African lines. Those are all different wives that Inky had children with up and down the Niger River going into the Congo. Right? This is where they hid the gorilla for a reason. You know, they haven't even knew it was a gorilla on Earth for over 150 years yet. Right? They discovered a gorilla back in the late 1800s. So now they know it's a gorilla, but they don't know what it is. They just know it's a primate. But when you study the gorilla is the quintessential patriarchal led pack animal, right? So then the gorilla key becomes the earth key of the primate, and the earth key is called the key Chi in. The Lord key to earth, Enki. So then the Enki seat becomes the seat of, as they see it, you can look at it like Horus and Osiris. When Osiris is gone, right, Horus have to build himself into Osiris in order to take the seat. And the only person that can bless him to do it is his mother, or Set, Isis. So without the blessing of the mother, the son can't take the throne. And the only one that the mother is going to bless is the one that's the most like the father.
Hey Rob, with all this knowledge that you have of the Anunnaki and like you real sharp with it. Like if somebody was
no, I'm not. No, hey, it's remember that chick me and Billy was talking about?
Who?
She was gonna do a show with him, and I was like, yeah, I like her. She tell the story so clear, and I'm like, man, she tell that better than me, and I was there.
I don't remember who you're talking about.
I forgot her name. Her name, I think her name like Christina something. But I be sharing her clips on my Facebook. So if you scroll my Facebook, you can't miss her. And it's another one called Illuminati, I think is her moniker and her page. And she be telling like they go into the books. They get only people that could tell it better is somebody that was there.
Do Do you anticipate having contact with these entities, whether it's Inky or whatever, being that you know what you know? Do you anticipate in this lifetime them contact? You know, we talk about contact, them contacting you, my brother. Are you anticipating that?
Am I allowed to take the fifth at that part?
Hey, brother, anything you got to do, brother. You know, you you can take the fifth, brother, if you want. You know, the people ain't gonna want it, but I understand. I understand.
Well, look, it's not going to be no secret.
Yeah.
This is the reason why they're giving y'all disclosure now. Ain't none of this stuff going to be no secret too much longer. Remember, this is the age of knowing. Everybody can guess what they want to guess and suppose what they want to suppose. They can say who they think right, who they think wrong. But one thing about it, at the close of the age, when we just closed out the Piscean age and we just opened up the Aquarian age, the age of knowing, therefore, all of the belief systems, when your head was under the water of the illusion, all them belief systems has been challenged, right? Many of those belief systems was just warped from your ancient spiritual tradition. So it's not going to be no secret. Who's who on the planet Earth. We've been fighting wars on racism, sexism, political opinions, philosophical opinions, religious doctrine and dogma. We've been fighting all these micro wars because we've been under a warring faction of leadership. In the warring faction of leadership, as long as you warring, they can have peace. Right? Because you don't know who's pulling the strings. But when you reverse engineer everything that's going down on Earth, and you end up in Switzerland, and you end up dealing with bankers that got so much money that they'll make billionaires envious. Right? Like some of these accounts, y'all have to see them to believe the amount of money. I know it's at least one account that can give everybody on Earth. Now it's 8.4 billion people on the planet, or 8.1 now, I think, after the scamdemic. But they get everybody $1 billion and won't even put a dent in what they got.
That's how much money they got.
That's how much money they got. It won't even, the interest for a year will cover that, and it will never affect their bottom dollar. This is what we call ancient money. Those are Pharaoh's coffers. Big Mama's bank. But you can't access Big Mama bank during the time of war. Everybody think a warlock is an individual. That's not what a warlock is. A warlock is when Big Mama lock her bank. And this is why you got to go exhume everything to find out where all of the artifacts is, so you'll know where the deposits is. They think that those is tombs in Egypt with all that gold in it. Those are deposits, them safety deposit boxes. That's all there is. That's why it's all that gold in there. And because somebody put an artistic expression on it, it personalized and gave it a enormous value more than the raw material itself. It became a relic, an artifact.
Right. I want to ask you. Hold on, let me Google something. Do these entities that vibrate on a high vibration, whether it's Inky or whoever it may be, there's this science of seeing sound that we refer to in this realm called cymatics. So if I play a C major chord, Rod, it'll make a certain symbol if I play that. Those notes together. Now they say our body is a universe. It's one song, one verse, universe, and we are sound. And we are emitting a sound. So do these higher entities, do they have eyes like these cymatic machines where when they see us, they see vibrations, they see ripples as if you threw a rock in water and it rippled across the water? Is that what they're seeing when they see us? Does it look like a ripple of water that creates a certain vibration? Is that what they're seeing when they see us, my brother?
Visually, when they're looking at us from higher realms, they can perceptually perceive us in our three-dimensional format.
Well, they can see, okay.
Right. But they also will see what we would say the streamer, which is, where's your energy coming from? What source are you connected to spiritually? And your auric field colors is going to tell them so much about you before they even look at you in your three-dimensional form, because they understand the pauper God, and they understand that the wolves in sheep's clothing and how they can be deceptive to the naked eye in the 3D, but you can't deceive them when they coming from higher dimensions. And they vision of the light spectrum is so much broader than ours. We see less than 1%. I'm not sure what their percent is, but in the 3D, I'm sure they see at least 10% of the light spectrum, which means they see us in more patterns, like the psychedelic patterns would be more how they would perceive us, and the color combination is going to tell them your whole life history. Right? So when they look at you in a broad spectrum like that, and then they put all of the light colors together, they know everything you've been through. Because everything we go through, it leaves something in our frequency. And this is how they are able to read your palms, read your tarot, read your eyes, your face. And some people can dry read your energy alone and tell you stuff you've been through. But these beings are more developed than us. For one, they get to train so much longer than us. When we get up in age, 80, 90 years old, some of the seers in that age bracket is spot on, laser sharp. But remember, they got a cap on how long they'll be able to learn that before they forget it all and try to remember it again in the next life of 120 years. Where juxtapose that by somebody who have 1,000-year lifespan, like so-called Methuselah, or some of the gods that was pre-dynastic during what we call the Septepi, the forever time before the first rule of the pharaoh Nama. The forever time had people that we interpret them to have sat on the throne for 300,000 years. But we don't really know how to interpret the forever time, because that was the time before time was instituted. There was no clock system before to keep track of how old these people were, that we didn't have time. Time didn't exist. And that's why they call it the forever time, because the time itself is a micro construct of magnetism in the 3D field, right? It's the way to measure from one event to another as you move through empty space.
Yo, Rod, I remember you just made me think about something, because you was talking about earlier, you was talking about Inky and his obsession with the phallus, his phallus, and you was talking about the pharaohs. I remember when the Hebrew Israelites were debating, I think it was Brother Polite or something like that, and they would show mad pictures, and they kept talking about how much Egypt was engaged in homosexuality. And they were showing mad images of the hieroglyphs. And they was like, look at this, look at this, look at this. And they would just say how much each ancient Kemet, because they was getting at everybody that's in the Kemet. And it was like, man, y'all niggas is crazy. Whoever's in the ancient Kemet. What's your thoughts on the Hebrews who show, and I ain't trying to start up with the Hebrews, but them talking about, or anybody talking about the hieroglyphs and all the homosexuality that they say you see represented in the hieroglyphs?
That's not homosexuality. That's phallus worship. Phallus worship. Look, phallus worship is alpha male energy. We see it in penitentiary all the time, right? But most people don't know what it's like to have that many men with high masculine traits in that jammed proximity. So you can't see in this open area where you got lesser men, you got males that have never become a man, right? So you can't see it. Most of the ones in prison would have been your leaders. Had they not been misled by the system, they would have been the ones that pound on their chest and take over. But then they start rounding them all up, putting them in the POW camps talking about crime when it wasn't no crime before they came. All of a sudden now we need prisons because we got crime, and we didn't even have police because we ain't need them. We didn't have a word for police. Everybody in the community is responsible for the community. Now the government is telling you y'all not responsible for y'all community. We gonna take care of your community. Y'all could anything y'all do, we gonna stop you from doing it, like feeding breakfast program, and then we gonna do it because we your daddy, right? That's the war on the male, under the understanding that when the men realize that the women are the heirs to the earth, and that if we don't fight for the liberation of the divine feminine, then we are destined to lose a war against less than divine masculine. So we have to stand up and say, okay, what's going on? How do we fix it? Who's causing this problem so we can get them out of the mix, right? So all of this stuff is part of masculine energy in its proper outlet. Phallus worship, we hear us talk about it all the time in slang. It's a pissing contest, a dick swinging contest. That's all it is bravado. So when they showing these images of these pharaohs holding a super phallus, it's because he's telling you that he was the most potent of all of the pharaohs before him. Therefore, he got the biggest chance.
Okay.
Right. It had nothing to do with homosexuality. Indeed. Unlike Rome, they show male to male penetration in their art. That's a different animal. That I haven't seen that in none of the hieroglyphics I've ever seen. I've never seen male penetrate male in anything out of Kemet.
Indeed. What to just get back to this whole return of the Black Adams, let's talk a little bit about who are the Pre-Adamites. For those who don't know, when you talk about when there's literature that talks about the Pre-Adamites, for those who don't know, who exactly are the Pre-Adamites, Rod?
All of those species that they said came before Homo sapiens. The Adamite is called the Adama because they say they earthborn. So that means they was made on Earth, but they can't go nowhere else. But you got ancient people called Pre-Adamites and Antediluvians, being before the flood. They call them Tartarians is Tartarus, which is Antarctica, which was an Atlantean civilization. All of those are Pre-Adamites, right? And even when we talk about the Adamite is only 8,400 years old, and they was genetically altered by the Anunnaki. They was genetically altered by the Anunnaki, which created something called the Great Debauchery. The Great Debauchery was what we call a genetic spill, because they put a whole bunch of genetically defective humans that they tampered with into the genome. But they told you the only remedy was for them to have original blood or Anunnaki blood. So during the 6,000 years, you have all these other beings from different star systems, royal families coming down here to clean it up, to aid the Earthborn in reclaiming the Earth from the ones who created the Adamite. The Adamite is actually what they call in the Sumerian tablets Lulu Amalu. And they used to refer to them as the Lulu. Those are our Lulu, our servant, our slave, our pets. And they called them their pets. And their job was service to the Anunnaki.
So the Tartarian Empire, if you was to give it a geographical location, you would say Antarctica, and where else?
Antarctica was the capital called Tartarus. When you read in the book of Enoch, he gives you a geographical description of the land of Tartarus. Tartaria literally means west of Rome, whereas Barbary means east of Rome. So when you're looking at west of Rome, you're looking at everything west of Italy as Tartaria, but that's not Tartarus proper. Tartarus proper is under the ice in Antarctica, where they thawed them people out that gave them the cryogenic sciences.
So, all right. So that was the capital, Antarctica. Now, what role does let's analyze two continents that are being talked about a lot now: America and Africa. During this pre-Adamite times, what's going on in America and what's going on in Africa at this time?
During this time, there was only certain settlements on the continent called Africa, and there are only certain settlements over here, but they are advanced over here. Then later on, the advancements from over here was taken to Africa by Tahuti and Inki. Inki settled what's called the Abzu, which is South Africa, when he gave rise to the Zulu. And Tahuti was sent to watch the Anunnaki that was in Sumer when he set up Kemet. The Anunnaki in Sumer was being led by Enlil's children, who primarily is his primary son, Ninursin, and his imposter son, named after Enki's son, as what was his name? Murdoch, right? Murdoch is actually Enki's son, and Marduk is actually Enlil's son. And they do that so that later on they can switch the birthrights and confuse the people that's supposed to recover the birthright as to which one of them it is. And if you give it to the wrong one, oh, well, you should have picked the right one. If you don't know that they do this, an example is in Genesis, when Adam's children was being named, and then Cain started naming his children the same names as Adam's children. It's the same thing. That's the Anunnaki blueprint for crushing a bloodline and usurping it and inserting your bloodline in its place.
Damn. Give me one more example of a name like they just usurped the name, and a lot of people think it's one thing, but they stole that name and they're using it. Give me one more example of an ancient name that we.
Okay, so Ninursin, also known as Ninurtu, right? But he was called Ninurtu in order to replace Ninurgazeta. Ninurgazeta is the son of Enki, and Ninurtu is the son of Enlil. So these is the sons they pitting against each other to reclaim or claim the earth, right? And let me see. Another one is Ra and Amun Ra. They're not the same, right? Ra was Marduk, and Amun Ra was Murdoch, and they was fighting to replace each other. The Enlil's son is trying to replace Enki's son, and Enki's son is mad about it.
Damn. I like to give me another example, because this shit is dope. Us figured. All right, so we got Ra, Amun Ra. We got the other names that you talking about, Ninursin, and the other one. I got to go back and write them down. Give me one more, Rod. Give me one more.
Another one is when you look into Buddhism, you have two words that look like they're the exact same word in English. You got Buddha and Buddha, right? And the reason that is, one of them is supposed to be wisdom, and the other one is supposed to be enlightenment, right? You become the Buddha when you enlighten, and you need the Buddha to become enlightened. You need the wisdom. From two different people, right? This is why you got so many different carvings of the Buddha. The original Buddha was Enki's son, black bald head, pot belly brother. But then they replaced him with Enlil's son, who they call an Aryan, and you could tell him because he's the stringy hair Buddha that put his hair up in the bun to imitate the priestesses. So there's so much of this stuff that goes on around the world. You can see it everywhere, but you don't always know what you're looking at.
Damn! Wow. Wow, that's some powerful stuff right there. Well, let me ask you, where is all of this going down on Earth? And you talked about Antarctica being the capital of Tartaria, I believe you said.
Tartarus.
Tartarus. What's the galactic capital? Where that's the spot everybody go to out of all the spots in the galaxy. What's the galactic capital, Rod?
Okay, now you got multiple galaxies. So like Earth used to be a resort. The women on Earth used to be the place to go to see beauty in its raw and untampered form. But it was a vacation place. But you got places where you go to train for war, and you got places where you go to settle conflicts in war. Those different in different galaxies. So when you're talking about a capital, it's not really like that. It's like everybody got their own galaxy, and then they communicate with each other, and then they have jumper ships that go from galaxy to galaxy. Like Nibiru got portals on Nibiru that they can go to Sirius, they can go to Orion, they can go to Arcturus. Everybody that has, they can go to the Pleiades. Everybody that got a bloodline on Nibiru have a gateway to get back to their origin point, right? And they even have a gateway to Earth to Nibiru, but the Stargate was closed down when they shut down, put us in the light lock to finish this war, this 6,000-year conflict. And they keep playing out over and over and over and cycle and cycle and cycle.
What in ancient times, what was the most famous portal on Earth? Like, was there a spot that everybody knows you go here? Like, we got airports and we got some of the most famous airports, LAX or whatever. What was like the LAX of portals in ancient times? Arizona. Okay. Okay.
Arizona, where you see the Grand Canyon at, that used to be the capital of the unified Earth before they divided the Earth into factions.
You talking about Pangea?
Well, Pangea is a way to call it, but the Earth, even after the land masses was separated, which was done on purpose, by the way, but even after that happened, they still had a capital in Arizona that was called the Great Atlant as the capital. And the outland, which is Liberia, was called the Land of Moot. It's the outland. It's like away from the capital. You have like, if Washington, D.C. is the capital and New York is the Empire State, it's the big city. And that would be like saying Arizona and Atlantis or Atlant and Lemuria as New York as the big city.
Right. And what, since you talked about the landmass separating and you said that was done purposely, what technology at that time did they use to separate the land masses, Ron?
The technology of some of these civilizations is so far ahead of Earth's current technological known level, not the unknown, because they got some unknown stuff on Earth that would blow your mind. But the known technology of the Earth is like hundreds of thousands, if not millions of years ahead of us. Stuff that you can't even describe. Like they have frequencies where you could how you program a 3D printer?
Yeah.
You can program it to the micro level and it'll print microscopically all the way up to macroscopically, where it's a giant monument, and you'll be able to find intricate details at with a microscope level of magnification, and you'll be able to step away from it on the Earth and say, "Man, that's a massive structure," and it'll still have equivalent amounts of detail. That's all. It's like a computer program, but it's so advanced, it uses the frequency of the sound waves around it in order to carve out the structure. They got Angkor Wat was made with a similar technology.
Mm. Yeah, man. You know, I don't hear a lot of people talking about Angkor Watts. Who dominated that landmass in ancient times? Angkor Watts.
That was the Ethiopia of the East. That was Enki's land. Um, and he used to experiment with some of that technology while they were looking for gold at various points around the earth. He would experiment. He would get his science teams together and they would do these magnificent architectural designs using computer like imaging to enhance them and all that kind of stuff. Those were the original people of India before Enlil brought his children. His
Yeah.
children today is the ones they call an Aryans and Ayurvedic royal families. And the untouchables, those are Enki's children, because when Enlil pulled rank, wherever Enki's children were, he put them at the bottom.
Mm. Damn, man. This thing between Inky and Enlil, this thing go deep, bro.
It's the story of the God and the devil. It's the same story. All it is just the names is just different in modern times to confuse the ignorant as to what's really taking place by giving them religious zeal. The religious zeal is the side effect of being told that the God you're looking for is outside of you,
Right.
right? Because you need to recognize the inner God in order to be independent of the pseudo gods. Because the inner God is the only true God you're gonna ever know other than your mama.
Right. Right. And speaking of inner gods, when we talk about the Black Adams, what can you tell me about, let's talk a little bit about the Black Sun, and if we could talk a little bit about the return of what many people call the return of the Black Sun. What does that represent to us in our inner world, the return of the Black Sun, Rod?
See, so when they talking about the black sun, it's also what Richard King called the black dot, right? We talking about the guy's seat in the back of the base of the skull, right? And when they talk about the return of the black sun, they also talking about the return of the Christ, not no Jesus, because the Christ is the awakening of the sacred elixir that rests at the bottom of your spine, right? That's called the Christ liquid. The term Christ means to be anointed in reference to being smeared or smudged with an oil, right? That's what anointed means. And the oil that they used to use in the rituals was bought from Sobek priests by the other priesthoods in order to perform the ritual, because they would drain it from the alligator brain, right? So they called it alligator oil or crocodile oil in Kemet. Over here, we use alligator oil, but it's the same thing. And today we use olive oil as the substitute for the christening or the anointing of the child, right? Because it's the another. It looks almost the same as the alligator oil or the crocodile oil, right? So when they talk about the return of the black sun, they talking about the one who can see through the black sun. It's in Masonic symbolism, right? And it's referred to in the Masonic lodges as the Saturn sun. The Saturn sun is not really a sun. It's a pseudo sun, a false light, right? Now, this is what, if you remember Bobby Hemming talking about spirit artificial, right? It's to make the ego outshine the true self.
Human artificial. He's talking about human artificial, right? Yeah. I
Yeah.
remember that. Damn, I remember. Yeah.
That's what he's talking about. The ones with the false light. The ones with the false light have no intrinsic biological connection to the earth or no spiritual connection to the earth, but they can look like us and they can mimic us, right? But they still not us.
What's one thing if you're telling people there's people that look like us, mimic us, they're not us because they have the false light. What's a dead giveaway when you see them? Will you be like, oh, that motherfucker got the false light? What's a dead giveaway? That's
And they know that it's not a dead giveaway because the mimicry, right? You know, the Mothman prophecies. The mimicry is so well of being a human that when you walk past them, you can't tell in the 3D. There's no, but you can tell when you get to a higher spiritual level, it'll come to you as a subtle knowing, like something ain't right about this right here, but I can't quite figure out what it is. Until you get a little higher spiritually, then you be like, that's one of them demon niggas. But other than that, they the ones that always smiling like they happy go lucky, and then they always trying to backbite you and undercut you when you ain't around. You know, but that's the most telling sign of who they are. They catch a group of peaceful people congregating, having dinner, and laughing and joking. They can't stand it. It irritates their frequency, so they got to start some shit. They got to put two people together that had no beef at first. They just naturally, how they react to us being in that positive vibratory frequency. And if you see us line dancing, all you got to do is look at the person that got an attitude and how well everybody line dancing. They sitting over there by themselves, mad as hell, pouting and shit, looking for some shit to start because they can't stand this positive vibration of the line dance. The line dance will pull a mask off if you know what you're looking for.
Yes, there's a lot of people I know that just absolutely can't stand positive vibrations, and they're always looking to argue and fight. So I know there's a lot of people on the internet. We see that all the time on the internet. So yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about, my brother. I know exactly what you're talking about. Wow. This is some good stuff here. Shout out to everybody. I want to take a couple of questions from y'all as well in the chat. But man, this is some good stuff here. Rod, if in a couple of more questions before I take questions from the people. You know, we used to hear about the presidents, you know, because we started out talking about Trump and him sending out the National Guard. We would hear when we first came into consciousness about Eisenhower meeting with the aliens and all of that right now. Who would you say is that true? Number one. And number two, if they do meet up with the presidents, who, and you talking about the return of the Black Adams, who exactly is Trump meeting up with in the extraterrestrial space right now?
Trump is not meeting directly with the extraterrestrial. He met with him before he got inaugurated in 2017 when he won 2016, 2017. Anyway, he met with him before then, and they told him the speech to give to the United Nations. Right? But he met with him in Raven Rock, Colorado. Raven Rock, Colorado is a hot spot. That's where all the chiefs that you don't see that's been working for liberation behind the scenes, that's where they at. Talking to generals in the military who discovered the fraud of the corporate system and swore to defend the Constitution against all enemies, foreign and domestic, and found out there were some domestic enemies with foreign interests on the land operating as our government. They all in Raven Rock, Colorado is the headquarters right now of the United States. That's because of the continuity of government.
So was it true? All right. So they told Trump to give the speech to the UN. Who could you? Is there a name? Do you know who he met up with to give the speech?
I don't know who he met.
So
but I know it was a group of generals there, and I know that it was several different Galactic Council members that met with him as liaisons, and all this stuff it's difficult to explain to people when you've been indoctrinated with the school system we've been under, the political system we've been under, and the entertainment industry. They all got us where we more prone to perceive misdirection than actual what's taking place.
Indeed, indeed. So what was that Eisenhower report? Was that real, Rod? When they said
Yeah,
Eisenhower?
In 1957, Dwight D. Eisenhower met with them, and that's when they made the contract for the military-industrial complex, by the way, because he made an agreement with aliens. And the agreement was for them to get a certain amount of humans for testing and for them to give a certain amount of technology in return. That's an actual treaty that's on file under his administration. I forgot what number, which number it is. But he got an extraterrestrial treaty as one of his treaties he signed.
And what group was this? The Greys he met up with?
It was a group of Greys, but I don't know which group it was. But he also met with some Venusians, with Valiant Thor and Titania. They came to the White House and stayed there, I think, for either 2 weeks or 2 months with the president.
Wow, this is some out there shit here, Rod. You talking about now? And now we getting real with now. I gotta ask you this, Rod. What do you think about Aleister Crowley's work?
Crowley was teaching something called left hand path ritual magic. And Aleister Crowley's whole goal was to go into the secret societies and put everything they teach out in the public domain. He said that in the beginning when they was calling, before they started calling him the beast. He got disgruntled with the church first. And then he found out about most of the preachers was part of the Masonic Lodge. So he became a Mason first. And then he went in and studied and mastered everything that they would allow him access to. And then he went on to the Rosicrucians and several other orders. And then he began to write all of the stuff that he had learned. And then he began to he made a trip to Egypt, right? And he contacted the spirit of Iwas. The irony of it is that Iwas is the same name that the movie Avatar gave to the World Tree. And that's not a coincidence. The spirit of Iwas is another wide energy field that you can tap into. It's basically a whole bunch of information. And if you prepare yourself to receive the information, you can get anything from Iwas. It's just like tapping into the World Tree. They give you everything that you're ready to receive will be given to you.
I haven't heard anybody talk about Iwas since Crowley. Nobody really talks about that, do they?
No. I think Rudolf Steiner might. Rudolf Steiner is a intellectual gorilla.
He's a big, he got some shit out there. I was talking about him a couple of months ago, man.
Yeah. I think Blavatsky might have mentioned Iwas and Manly P. Hall. Other than that, I don't know a lot of people that mention.
Yeah. Wow. What about have you ever studied Pascal Beverly Randolph? Because I know a lot of them got their information from him.
Yeah.
No.
Yep. And also it's a guy named Harold Percival. Right. And we all know Manly P. Hall. He was ridiculously intelligent. But it's so many that I can't even remember all of the ones to tell y'all to investigate, because there's so many names that when certain ones come to mind, they knock other names out. Annie Besant, she was a student of Blavatsky. She was out cold. Then you got Paramahansa Yogananda. He was out cold. And he had a student named Dayamata. She was a good instructor in Kriya Yoga. Then you had you ever heard of Osho?
Yeah, heard of Osho. Yeah.
Do you know his story?
That's the dude they did the documentary about, right?
I don't know, but he came over here and he started teaching people how to bypass the religion and tap into their higher consciousness. And the CIA sent an operative to infiltrate. And then they tried to poison him with rice and gas on the doorknobs. and several people got sick, and his security rushed him out of there, rushed him back to India, and he ended up being in a legal battle with the lady that was supposed to be a student, and he was Rajneesh at the time.
Right.
But when he went back to India after he got done dealing with the CIA tactics and he seen how wicked they was, he went to India and changed his name to Osho.
Mm. Mm.
But he had originally came from over there.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. Yeah, I'm not sure if there is that family. Did they do a documentary on Osho? Is that the dude on Netflix? Let me know if that's the. I'm
I
not
know
sure.
they did a 2020 special on him back in the 80s when
Right.
all that stuff was fresh. Because they was trying to say that he was a fraud. He was more legit than 99% of the preachers in America.
Mm-hmm. Indeed. Wow. You ever heard of just speaking of people, we bringing up names. All right, Neville Goddard had a teacher, Ethiopian, I think a Jewish rabbi teacher named what was his name, y'all? The black dude who taught Neville Goddard. Damn, why am I forgetting these names? What's this dude name? Abdullah. You ever heard of the dude Abdullah who taught you? Do you know about Neville Goddard?
I know who Neville Goddard is, but I don't know who his teacher was.
Yeah, Abdullah. This dude named Abdullah. They said he was real sharp. I mean, I'm sending you this video on him that I seen on YouTube. Yeah, curious about that dude right there. Shout out to so Rob, man. So Elijah was on point with a lot of this stuff then about the motherships and the UFOs and all that. What's your thoughts on what Elijah's take on the UFOs and the mothership and everything? You agree with his approach to it?
He was pretty spot on, because at the time that he said Masfar Muhammad was building the mother plane and they was ordering parts from all the auto manufacturers stuff, they was in the process of somebody was in the process of building the ship, and they built it. So he knew something, and he was ahead of his time, because when he started talking about the mother plane, the only person who had mentioned something about a craft was Noble Drew Ali before that.
And so what's your thoughts about Master Farad Muhammad? Because he was real mysterious as well. Like, was he exactly who they said he was?
He was a perfect mirror to Claire Muhammad. He was the perfect mirror to Claire Muhammad. The name Ford comes from the word Fjord, which means a waves, which means a pinch to cross the river, in reference to the river Styx. So you had to pay the boat, the guy in the boat, to take you across the river, right? Which is across the water.
Right.
To go across the water means to traverse the spirit. And once you traverse the spirit, then you can see clear. And once you see clear, you clairvoyant. That's clear vision. And Claire is Muhammad, and Muhammad is the praiseworthy. And we know that the mother of the Nation of Islam during the reign of Elijah Muhammad was Claire Muhammad, the Black Madonna of the day. But Fard Muhammad was the perfect mirror. And he's exactly the opposite of everything she is. In other words, the black woman is God and the white man is the devil. But if you don't see the devil for what he is, you'll never see God for who she is. A mirror.
All right, let's get to some questions from the chat, family. We almost have 4,000 in the chat. Shout out to everybody who's tuned in right now. Let's get to some questions. I know y'all got a lot to ask Rob. We're gonna start. Let's see. Let me scroll up a little bit. Well, shit, yeah, we asking about all this. What this? Okay, what do you think about Credo Mutwa? What's your thoughts on him? They want to know.
I love Credo. That was my guy. I studied everything I could study from Credo.
Dope. That's where David Icke got the reptilian thing from, though, right?
Yeah, the Chitawule.
Mm.
What that was the only way David Icke can put it into English is to call him a reptilian. But Credo Mutar called him the Chitawule.
Meaning, so it was a little different from how so how would you explain what Credo was saying? Because David might have got, he's
The Chitawule is like saying uh, the people from the stars, more so than calling them reptilian. It just so happened that when Credo Mutwa described their appearance, David Icke, the closest thing he could match it to was the reptilian archons that he had already discovered in the in the Greek and Roman historical record.
right. Right. Yeah, somebody I see y'all saying Bobby Hemmett talked about eyewash. Yeah, he does. He did. I gotta see that video again. I haven't seen that in a long, long
Yeah,
time.
I forgot Bobby Hemmett did talk about Iwas.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm glad you brought that up. Thanks for bringing that up. I'm gonna go back into the YouTube archives. Yo, Rod, YouTube took a lot of the classic videos off their
Yeah,
site from Bobby and Delbert and Phil Valentine.
Facebook did too.
Damn. Yeah, a
Yeah,
lot of it's gone.
Facebook took a lot of stuff down.
Let's get to another question. Yo, you mess with somebody mentioned Jordan Maxwell. You mess with him, Rod? You mess with Jordan Maxwell? What you think about him?
Jordan Maxwell ain't regular. Jordan Maxwell, well, he was the undisputed truth in research.
Uh-huh. Yeah. I used to have a lot of his stuff back in the day, yo. A lot of his stuff.
Yeah, I used to listen to him on the same channel Art Bell used to come on. There used to be another channel. They used to always be trying to interview him.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, what they want to know, what are your thoughts on the missing kids?
Anytime a kid come up missing, there's something wrong. Every time a kid come up missing, there's something wrong. Ain't no kid supposed to be coming up missing. Either somebody not doing their job as a protector, and somebody is overdoing their job as a predator. I'm never easy with children coming up missing and don't nobody know where they at.
I heard somebody earlier mention, I can't find the comment now, something going on in Virginia. There's a lot of children coming up missing in Virginia. You heard anything
It's
about
not just Virginia.
that? Mm.
See, they running out. They adrenochrome factories have been effectively shut down, and they've been trying to get as many kids as they can to try to survive on their last of those sips of presence here. And the babies coming up missing is not good. And then you still got a remnant from the Lazarus group that need other people organs because they too goddamn old and need to be put out their damn misery. Because they need somebody else's life force to survive.
Right. All right, let's keep this thing going. Let's get to another. I don't know what this is. They said, what do you know about Rita Orsic? What's that?
No, I've never heard that name.
Yeah. All right, let's keep this thing. Somebody said, does Osha have any books? He got books, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You could type Osho in on Amazon Books, and it's gonna come up with a bunch of books. Some of them gonna be under the name Raj Neese. It's the same guy,
Mm-hmm.
but he got some fire.
Somebody wants to know, what is your take on 3 Atlas and Chandra's 3 moons finding? I don't know if I'm saying that right.
Yeah, that's probably somebody who put out a video and I haven't seen it.
Yeah,
It sounds like it's like a podcast or something, or one of those researchers that be looking up statistics and stuff. I'm not familiar with them.
Next question. Has it ever been an ancient myth? This is interesting. An ancient myth involving a sister versus sister battle for supremacy. Interesting question.
There is. Matter of fact, it's some that's not even that ancient, but most of the ancient ones, the ancient stories of the women who were vying for the power to the throne, they was also vying for a particular mate, because in order for her to take the throne, she got the blood right, but she might not have the right mate, so that'll disqualify her. But I can't name two sisters that was at it, because when the patriarchal onslaught came and they began to villainize the sisters, even the ones that was bad was villainized as the ones that was good was villainized. So those stories is hard to recover post patriarchal onslaught.
Right. Damn, women been fighting over men a long time then, Rod.
But it's not all women, only certain ones.
Right.
You got to remember, a lot of the stuff we see going on today, that stuff wasn't going on 10,000 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
In social activity and communication, most marriages was arranged. This new stuff where your marriage is not arranged is a disaster.
Mm. Mm. I don't know if I could have a motherfucker pick my mate for me, Rod. I don't know about living in them times, man.
You know why you would have accepted it, Rich?
Why?
Because first of all, your mama was going to pick the woman that she know beyond a shadow of doubt gonna love you unconditionally like her. She not gonna pick no chick that just want to have a baby by you or just want your money. She ain't gonna never pick her ever.
Right.
So
when you said mama pick her, okay, but go ahead.
Yeah, look, it's still going on today. It's just that you don't know your mama picked her because you ain't never seen your mama around or talk to her, and she probably ain't never seen your mama in person. But energetically, when you meet her, when your heart chakra accept her and your mama heart chakra pick that energy up, they can communicate subconsciously using you as a relay station. It still happens. But some of us ignore it. When the relationship go bad, that's your mama telling you to get out of there, bro. This finna go all the way south for you. Bail out while you can. And you might be head over heels for this chick, but you be looking at her like something ain't right. I'm out of here. I'm not gonna do this. But that's subconscious communication from your mother in order to protect your heart from this dastardly, trifling, feminine being.
Gotcha. They want C Diggs wants to know, is there a blood type that is considered royal amongst here on Earth?
All of them. We gotta remember, everybody on Earth is related. Even if we don't want to be related to them, we still related. It's just that they ain't our immediate family, but everybody on Earth is related, or you wouldn't be able to trace mitochondrial lines if we wasn't all related.
Right.
And Y chromosome lines for that. You tell you your daddy line and your father line based on your Y chromosome haplogroup.
Indeed.
And the royalty comes from everybody have a potential to be royalty, but everybody not going to actualize the potential, because what it takes is a whole bunch of self-work that most of us don't want to go into the darkness of the night to correct those self-errors. It's hard work. And it's emotionally and psychically draining.
Right.
You can't never activate your world potential in your blood because you don't want to put that kind of work in. It's easier for you to get a job, be a slave for 40 years, retire, and then die. When you start activating what qualifies you as royalty in your blood, right? You have an easier life once you get activated, but you catch hell during the activation period.
Next question they asking is, do you believe souls are trapped in Saturn? I do. I travel there. That's a popular thing on the internet right now.
You cannot trap a soul. It's not possible. Everybody on earth came here knowing what they book of life read before they incarnate. Whether they incarnated the first time or reincarnated for the 1000th time, that you can't trap the soul. The only reason why we've been in the light lock, and that's not a soul trap, that is a science trap to trap their science from affecting other people when they go to busting off atomic bombs like 90 going north, because we didn't done it before. Right? So remember, the devil got 6,000 years to rule. 10,000 years ago was the last of the great wars that almost annihilated all life on the planet.
Was you around during that time, Rod?
I pushed the button.
Oh, there you go with that shit. Yo, this one nigga, Rod. Yo, Rod, hold up. Come, Rod, man. See, this is what I'm talking about. You got explain. Come on, Rod. Explain that to me, man. There you go again, Rod. You always doing this. Talk to me, man.
So it was the last Anunnaki wars. And Enlil was winning. I ain't want him to win. And I had access to the bomb. So I pushed the button. And they went off.
Now, how do you know this was like? Do you have flashbacks of this? Do you have
the flashbacks is horrible. The flashbacks and the memories is horrible. It's almost like a Vietnam vet waking up with cold sweats in the middle of the night. It's horrible. It's horrible.
I can see it in your eyes. I never seen you like this, Rod. I can see it in your eyes. I see it that. Damn, you mean that shit. You mean that. I see it in your eyes, man. Shit.
Yeah. They wanted to put us in a permanent loop. This when they Enlil's son, Nennerson, opened the portal in Sumer. When he opened the portal, it was between the third and fourth dimension. And he blew an explosive and closed the portal, which caused the spiraling of the dimensions that they gradually fade into each other. Well, it pinched two of them together. And now you in this infinity loop where you come around, go up, come around, go up. You in the infinity loop now. That means that they can step outside the loop and you trapped. Your soul not trapped, but your incarnate ability to break free in the 3D is what's trapped. Your bloodline is trapped in the 3D by repeating the same cycles over and over again. And that's why you have to flip out of the infinity loop. That's what made the Maherta so important, because we've been trying to hit the Maherta at the right time,
for a while.
Wake us all up and flip out the loop by information, waking up enough minds to flip out of the loop to get back on track. Now we on top of the fourth dimension, about to get ready to move into the fifth dimension. But the three-dimensional world is still going to be here. It's just that our access to higher knowledge and higher spiritual abilities will once again be reactivated. Remember, I told you couldn't nobody come in a mythical form.
Yeah.
But now you're going to be able to see people's mythical form in their physical presence in the 3D. It'll be clear as day. Oh, she's an ogre. She's a fairy. He's a gnome. Right? You'll be able to recognize them, but they're still going to look human. That's the Earth rule. On Earth, everybody, all higher evolved beings got to take on the form of the human. And this is what happened when a lot of those reptilians, we didn't know that killing them was going to make them turn into us over time. The more you kill them, the more like us they look.
It's like that?
Yeah. That's what the story, you see the Great Wall with Tom Cruise?
Yeah, yeah.
You remember them beasts, they kept killing them?
Okay.
And every time you kill one, they become more and more like a human because it's the highest frequency in the energy field that matches their frequency coming from where they from. So they the top species where they from. We the top species here. So if they stay here and you keep killing them because they obviously recognize they don't belong here, and you keep killing them every time they come back, when they start taking on human form, they go through stages of what's called ichthyosis. Where they got these big scales. That means they almost human. They next incarnation, kill him up again. He gonna come back next time. He's just gonna have ashy skin. And then he gonna look like one of us.
Damn. Since that time, Rod, you said you pushed a button. Was there another incarnation before you known as Rod Hayes that you've been down here, my brother?
Yeah. I used to read. Okay, so my average lifespan was around 90 to 100 years since then, and I always came back in the Louisiana area or the Mississippi area, and I always remember being a toddler, going to my big mama house. When she was in Louisiana, we used to catch a flat raft. And the dude used to row us to her house. And then when you get to her house, it's like she got a piece of land in the middle of the swamp. But when we get in there, and this was my favorite memory, and I think that's why I carry so many lifetimes of remembering it, because it happened in multiple lifetimes. But when we go there, she say, what my baby want to eat? I got some fried chicken and cornbread squares, and I go into the kitchen, and it's always a bowl with some fried chicken and some cornbread covered up with a towel on the counter. I remember that multiple lifetimes. Then, like 2 lifetimes ago, I remember going to my big mom house. She wasn't in the swamp. I thought it was odd. She ain't in the swamp no more. She's living in New Orleans, in the city limit. That's odd for my big mom, right? But she still had the fried chicken and the cornbread squares on the countertop. That's for the visitors to come through because they had no bag of chips. Well, no, let's go get some Doritos and some Suzy Q. Wasn't none of that, right? And the real treat was called sweet bread, but it was really made like cake batter, but it was fried on top of the stove like a pancake, but it wasn't a pancake, right? And that gave rise to common white bread being called sweet bread. But I remember a lot of that stuff. I remember in past lives walking through the nighttime streets of New Orleans with my mama holding my hand. And when I went back to New Orleans, you're talking about a flood of memories. I didn't know what I was going through. I thought I was going literally insane because at the time I was like 17, 18 years old. And I'm like, what is this? Right. And it took me years to figure out what it was I was seeing.
You was having flashbacks of past lives when you went there. Damn, man. Rod. You be always, man, I be having a good time talking to you, man. Rod, you be saying some shit, boy. I'll be having a good time talking to you, man. Let's get to some more questions, Rod. Let's get to some more questions. Somebody said, will the black aliens help us?
They not gonna help us or hurt us. They not here for all of us. The ones on Earth is responsible to help the ones on Earth. The ones leaving Earth is responsible to get the fuck on. And the ones that's leaving, all I can say is arrivederci. It was nice having you here, and it's even nicer to see you leave. You all stayed your welcome. And now we want to go back to Earth life as Earth is supposed to be.
Let's get to this next question, Ron. What is the symbolic significance of the Trump and Putin meeting?
Oh, that was all cold. So it's a power play. The most 2 powerful nations on the planet two of the three actually. China number 3.
Mm.
But the flying of the F-15, right?
Mm-hmm.
F-15 is code flip 555. That means flip the change.
Mm-hmm.
So everybody was focused on the meeting, but wasn't nobody focused on the F-15 that flew over Putin's head, because this is telling them to flip the change, which also coincides with the arrival of the National Guard in DC,
Mm.
right? Because now it's time to flip the change.
Mm-hmm.
It's all turned around now. 555 means it's all turned around.
Mm-hmm.
5 is initiating the change. 55 is changing. 555 means it's done changed. And the F-15 means flip to 15, flip to 3 5s.
Mm. Okay. Let's get to some more questions. Somebody said, why Alaska? That's what
Why?
they had to mean at. That's what they had to mean at in Alaska.
It's a black pyramid in Alaska. And it's Alaska was purchased from Russia by the United States. I think it was for $1 million. And because it was attached to the landmass over here. So Alaska, in some people's mind, is still part of Russia.
Mm. What's that black pyramid? You gotta explain that one. What is it?
It's an ancient black pyramid in Alaska. Do you remember when La Palma was about to blow, and then the Army Corps engineers kept back blasting holes to hold off the lava flows to keep it from blowing?
Yeah.
Right. And I was like, soon as they found out where the third portal at, because it was a 3 portal jump. It had a Archon ship. It was going in a portal, and every time it come out of a portal, it'd disappear, but it was a missing portal. They could only catch it at one of the two, but when they go to the third one, they didn't know where it was at. Coming to find out, it was in right outside of Mexico in the Pacific Ocean. So once they identified the third one, instead of back blowing the lava flow, they closed the one in Alaska at the Black Pyramid. They dropped a bomb in the one in the Pacific, and then they backfilled all that lava into the Stargate that was on La Palma, and all that lava is in the in the wormhole with the ship. So now they can't get out the ship in the wormhole, and now they can't get out because all 3 Stargates is closed.
Mm.
Right. So the Black Pyramid was very instrumental. They also got a Black Pyramid in Antarctica, by the way.
Yeah, I heard about that one.
They're huge.
Right. Family, don't spam the chat. I usually just ban people. I'm gonna put you in. Just don't spam the chat, fam. Don't ask the same question over and over and over and over. You're clogging up the chat. Please don't do that, family. All right. Somebody says it. Well, no, there was another question I want to ask you that I seen. Okay, here it goes. What do you think about the interstellar object discovered in our solar system? I heard Billy talk about it. I don't know what's going on. Have you heard about that, Rod?
There's it's a couple of them. It's more than one. One of them they are actually classifying as a newly discovered planet. Then they got several different. Some of them is supposed to be asteroids or meteors that's headed this way, but they still don't.
Hold up, Rod. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. That's what everybody's talking about. Hold on. Let me put this. That's why they keep asking about this 3-eye atlas thing. Okay, hold on. Let me share the screen. I'm gonna let you see the article right now, Rod. That's why people keep saying that. Hold up, Rod. Hold up. Give me 1 second, y'all. I gotta get this together. All right. A mysterious comet is shooting through our solar system. Why are scientists so excited about 3-eye atlas? An object that came from outside our solar system is hurling towards the sun at 38 miles a second. First detected in July, this visitor from outer space, known as 3-eye atlas, is only the third known interstellar object to have been discovered after Mamua in 2017 and Borisov in 2019. Excitement has been growing since the Hubble Space Telescope captured an image of the interstellar interloper, offering scientists a rare opportunity to analyze. So they say we don't know exactly where it came from, but it definitely came from outside our solar system. The name, let me see, blah blah blah. All right, then I don't pretty much nothing else, but okay. All right. Any they said it looks like a fuzzy. They said it looks like a fuzzy snowball. Huh?
Did you catch that speed?
What was it? 30, where's that? 38 miles a second, they said.
That's 1 second. How many seconds in a minute?
60.
Okay. So that's 180 miles a minute. Do you realize how fast this thing is moving?
Shit.
There's never been an asteroid or a comet recorded at this speed before.
So what that mean, Rob? What you think?
That's not an asteroid. It's a ship.
It's a ship. Woo-hoo. Yeah, thanks for telling me that, family. I had no idea. Okay, that's what y'all was talking about. All right. Thank you, family. That's a shit, man.
Yeah, asteroids. The average asteroid, you can measure it in miles per hour, not miles per second.
Second, right? Okay, 38 miles a second. They said. So what ship? What Nibiru ship? What ship would you call that? Then?
No, that's not a mothership. That's a jumper ship. The jumper ships lead out ahead of the mothership. The mothership don't land until they get the report back. Okay, so they come in waves. Remember the drones?
Yeah.
Those are Dyson Sphere satellites.
Okay.
Right? Okay, they come first. They survey. Right? Before the main mothership that's coming the next wave they send after the orbs is the scout ships. Right? The scout ships don't necessarily have to land. They just have to survey everything going on and see how they reacted to. Then the next thing they come with the jumper ships would bring its actual personnel. Look, that's 2,280 miles per minute.
Whew.
That's called warp speed. That's called warp speed. That's not regular travel speed.
Oh man, y'all gonna have me look this up tonight, y'all. This okay. This sounding interesting, y'all.
Yeah, you seen it on Star Trek when they say everybody get ready to go into warp mode. Systems activated, and all of a sudden they zoom in.
Yeah.
That's a ship. That's not no meteor. But
man.
You know, they always classify ships as meteors and stuff like that as a form of concealment to the panic of the public.
Mm-hmm.
We don't give no damn about no ships coming here. Let them come on. Okay, what we gonna do?
Yeah. Somebody said, remember 2020, Trump kept saying military warp speed. Yeah.
Ain't none of that stuff a coincidence. Everything they saying, everything they telling you, they giving you codes. We don't speak their language and they don't speak ours. So when they be saying stuff, we panic because we think they mean something different. Like when they've been talking about the carbon footprint, they're talking about everywhere one of us standing. That's the carbon footprint where we standing. Ain't no carbon footprint in space. The whole space is carbon. So the carbon footprint got to be where the carbon being is walking, right? And then because of the carbon footprint, they have to worry about global warming. Why are they worried about global warming when they know that the sun cycle is coming in and you can't stop it? Because it's one of the 4 cycles of the 26,000 year elliptical, the movement of the Earth every 26,000 years, right? So they know that the sun cycle coming. when they worried about global warming. They're not worried about the globe heating up intrinsically. They're worrying about the spiritual heat up of the awakening of the ones with the carbon that can assimilate the highest frequency of waves. And the carbon has got to be settled in the neural network, and what they call neuromelanin.
Mm-hmm.
They be telling us the whole time. We don't know what they're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
The greenhouse effect. What's the greenhouse effect? Right? They say the greenhouse effect is the heat inside of the atmosphere is getting higher than they can contain. It's the sun cycle.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a greenhouse effect. We ain't no greenhouse. We on Earth.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So they be talking about all kind of stuff in codes. We see a headlines in the newspaper. We don't see the same headlines that the elites see. The elites might be reading the acronym while you reading the word.
Mm.
Right? And then the picture gonna tell them how to interpret the acronym. The no picture is gonna tell them a different way to interpret it.
Mm-hmm.
Right? You got a headline with no photos. Oh, that's a whole different story now. And now you got to read inside of the story and know which way to count the words in order to find the code that's in. That's all CIA, MI5, Mossad, MI6, KGB stuff.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And they all got the same code system. They just use it different at different times for different purposes. But all of the espionage codes is the same.
Mm-hmm.
Because all the spy network is all connected.
Mm-hmm.
And rooted in Switzerland, tied to the bootleg.
Somebody said, get this, brother Rich and Rod. The 3i Atlas mothership is targeted to be behind the sun in September or November. Wow.
Remember I told you between September and October?
This getting good, y'all. See, y'all talk. I had no idea about this, y'all. Oh man, okay.
There's so much going on. I can't even remember everything to tell y'all right now. It's so much because it's like I see it, and then it might not come back to mind to an hour after the show, Rich. And I'm like, oh man, I should have told Rich this.
Yeah. Damn, yeah, because they said it was going toward the sun. Wow.
Look, if you go on my page right now, some lady took a picture on her telescope of a ship with some baby ships sitting right next to the moon. And she ain't the only one. She's just the only one I posted. Let's see if I can find it.
Oh.
Can you read that?
The alien mothership and 2 smaller UFOs reported near the moon is stunning. Wow. It's stunning sky sighting. Wow. Damn. Damn, there's that much activity in the sky now, y'all?
Look, it been that much activity. That's not new. We just now getting the opportunity to come with photographs of it because most of us wasn't using that technology until the last couple of years. Now you got what they call citizen astronomers, civilian astronomers with telescopes that have been going to observatories for years and know all that stuff, how to read that stuff. But now their hobby has become a news channel for us.
Uh-huh. Rod, I remember, let me ask you an opinion about this because we mentioned Elijah, the most honorable Elijah Muhammad earlier. And I remember Dr. Wesley Muhammad was on the show and he talked about I think when Neil Armstrong went to the moon or somebody, I think it was Neil, they heard the Muslim prayer being on the moon. Do you know anything about this? The Muslim prayer on the moon?
Oh, well, let's just say with Neil Armstrong, who landed on the moon in 1960s, but 67.
Yeah.
If he heard the Muslim prayer, it was in the adjacent movie studio right next to him. So it's a total possibility they could have been filming. What's that Charleston Heston movie?
You said a movie studio.
That's where it was at. Come on,
Mm.
man. Look at that contraption they said they flew to the moon.
Mm-hmm.
It got a flimsy door, a cloth door. Come on, in outer space. A cloth door. It got wires on it that you can actually see now. But back then, our minds were so fascinated about the prospect of going to the moon that we couldn't even see the wires that they was using.
Uh-huh.
And
Okay.
we and the nigga that was filming was on the moon before Neil Armstrong.
Right.
Or otherwise, who was filming? Where was he at?
Yeah.
Ain't no stars in the background. They should be bright as hell if you on the moon.
Well,
All that stuff is relevant.
let me ask you this now. All right, you're not buying the moon thing. Let me ask you this about the ships in the sun. What happens, Rod? Because some people say the sun is a portal. The sun is all types of different names. People say, if a ship goes right through the sun, where's it at, Rod? If you had a ship, me and you in a ship, and we fly right through that mother effing sun, where are we? Where are we once we go through that sun, Rod?
You know, I don't think that it's that kind of portal.
Uh-huh.
But the Anunnaki's history say that they do know how to burrow into the center of the sun and make it habitable on the inside, and they know how to enter and exit, which is ironic because this lady Gina Coben was videoing the sun with her telescope up close about a week ago, and you seen a series of ships coming out of the sun,
Uh-huh.
and they was parking. They wasn't just going nowhere; they was just lining up.
Right. Somebody said, should we still be sun gazing, Rod?
That's a personal preference. You should still be doing anything you think gonna help you advance in this life. If you don't think it's gonna help you none, don't do it.
Mm.
If you think you can benefit from it, do it. You don't need nobody outside you to tell you that.
Right.
You just gotta remember to tell yourself, I'm gonna benefit from this, so that's what I'm doing. I'm not gonna benefit from this, so that's not what I'm doing.
And I was out in that sun for about an hour today, man. I'm proud because I usually don't get to go out there that much, but I got about a whole hour out there today, man.
And I went for a walk when we was having a Schumann resonance blast and the solar flare at the same time. I think it was last Tuesday. Man, I got down to the lake. Man, I was getting so much energy I couldn't even stand up.
Yeah.
I was catching it, man. I was catching it.
Yep. Yeah. Let's keep this. This is a real good show, y'all. Oh man, thanks for telling me about that 3-eye atlas thing, family. Yeah, I gotta get me a telescope and a microscope. I gotta get both of those. Thanks for I'm gonna keep
Talking about a whole new world opening up. Either
yeah,
one. But if
yeah.
you get both of them, you're going to, as above, so below, you're going to be surprised how much microscopic activity mimic stellar activity.
Mm. Right. All right. Let's wow, this is a good show here. Let me see. Let me see if oh, I got a super chat question here. All right. How much strength is my positive projections potential to help stop violence against innocents? That seems to be all I could do for now through my mind's projections, collective projections power as well.
Well, every time you can get two people to agree with you on that, it increases it by 100-fold. So, your positive projections is always a benevolent addition to what we experience. So if that's all you got to offer, that's all you got to offer. That might be your job. Your spiritual assignment is to project your positive potentials to stop the violence against the innocents. There's a whole lot of us on that same frequency, by the way. So you just expanding the bandwidth.
Indeed. All right, let's get to this next super chat. What are the shadowy figures and objects seen in our peripheral, and how should we deal with it?
Ask them who they are and what they want and why they're there. And anybody that refuses to answer you is not allowed to stay.
Mm,
Anybody that's not there for your best good, for your highest good, not allowed to stay. And you'll be surprised the ones that stay will be able to communicate with you. And you can ask them who they are. Most of the time it's just your ancestors.
mhm,
But some of your ancestors was a piece of shit too, because when I went through it, I found some man that was a piece of shit.
mhm,
So all our ancestors wasn't good people.
mhm. What somebody reminded me in the chat, Rod, what is the best way to donate to you, to send love and support for all the work and effort that you do? What's the best way
Um,
right now? Because I know it changed. What's the best way right now, Rod?
yeah. Well, my Cash App is back operational. My Cash App is $ capital SIK capital APE. My PayPal is at SIK801, which is the same as my Cash App. It's at 01 on PayPal. That's how you can donate.
Let me hold on. Let me just post the Cash App real quick. That was hold up. Give me 1 second, yo. Alright. Yeah, if anybody who wants to show Rod some support, we got about 4,000 of y'all in here. You know, we should do we should make a statement tonight, man. 4,000 of us send Rod $2 each. Imagine that. Imagine we move like that, a unit like that. Imagine if 4,000 of us show the brother love. And I love showing people love who contribute to my growth and development. It ain't nothing to me. We are emanations of prime source. So damn, that'd be dope if we move like that, family. Damn, that'd be fire. But let's get to the but that's how you can support the brother. Cash App $ SIK8 SIKAPE. He been dropping this for about 2 hours now, man. So shout out to the brother Rod Hayes for doing that, man. I appreciate it. Let's keep this thing going. We're gonna do just a couple more, then we're gonna get out of here. I don't want to keep the brother too long. Somebody said I had a super chat question. Let me see, because I don't want to miss. Okay, I see you. I think this is you. Well, then, I missed 2. Damn, I missed a couple of super chats. All right. Well, I'm gonna get to these super chats that are here, and then I gotta get off the show, y'all. Has Rod or anybody seen the leaked Hollow Earth video with the black statue?
I haven't personally seen it, but I've seen photographs of the Hollow Earth. But I didn't see the black statue.
Okay. Dr. Bliss told his story about the encounter with aliens. He said they were brothers. Okay.
Yeah, he met him at a ufology convention. He's there was 2 of them.
Indeed. All right. As a priest and messenger, can you speak to the importance of marrying the spiritual knowledge with actual scholarship?
That's like a contradiction. The hard part is the scholarship is linear logic. The spiritual knowledge or spiritual wisdom is abstract. So you have to explain an art piece to somebody, a Picasso painting, a Tupac song, a Sam Cooke song. You have to reinterpret the song where somebody who doesn't have the spiritual insight can follow the scholastic method to interpret the artistic expression. That's the closest way I could tell you about marrying it. It's like translating a foreign language into the common language.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. All right. All right, let's keep this thing going. We're gonna do 2 more, then we're gonna get out of here. 2 more, then we're gonna get out of here. Thoughts on the Northern Appalachian anomaly? Respect, brother Rich and brother Rod.
I'm not familiar with what just took place in the Appalachians. I think he making reference to a current event, but I haven't. I don't remember exactly what I ran across about it. So it didn't really catch my attention.
Indeed, indeed. Yeah, a lot of y'all showing that's dope. I see people in the chat. A lot of people showing Cash App love. Let's make this a movement. You know what I'm saying? People come on my channel. Listen, man, we support the gods and goddesses that come on this channel. I take care of the gods and goddesses. That's part of my job. Rod is humble. He ain't gonna mention money like that. I'ma mention it though. I'm a money god. So I'm wealth. So I'm gonna mention it. Support my brother. Thanks for reminding me, y'all. Yeah, that's the Cash App $sick8. Somebody said they gave $20. Yeah, show my brother love. I like to hear that. Yeah, I like to hear that. Let's do shout to the diamonds in the chat. Let's do one more question. Then we're gonna get out of here. Give me a good one, y'all. Come on, give me a good one, y'all. Oh, okay. You know, I actually thought this, y'all. I thought this earlier. I'm glad you asked this. Is AWA some way connected to ayahuasca? I thought that earlier, but it just, it slipped my mind. I'm glad you asked that.
I don't know if they directly related, but I know we're on the ayahuasca retreat that you can access ayahuasca in the ayahuasca ceremony. She ain't the only one you can access though. But you can access ayahuasca through the ayahuasca ceremony.
Indeed. Yeah, thanks for asking that. When we was talking about it, I had thought that, and it slipped my mind. Thanks for asking that. I really appreciate that. Let's do one more. Let's do one more, and then we're gonna get out of here. Somebody said I need a good drink right now. I need a good drink right now. I hear you. Somebody said, does ice and deportation serve the people of the land as a spiritual sign?
Yeah, ice on the land is ISIS on the land. And the deportations is the cleanup of it's really the control measure of the borders through the transitional phase. ISIS on the land, clearing the land of the ones who belong somewhere else at the close of the age. Spiritually speaking, that's what it looked like to me.
All right. Listen, man, we're gonna get out of here now, man. I done had Rod on here for 2 hours, man. Rod, I want to thank you once again, brother, for coming on the show, man. We've been doing this for a couple of years now, Rod. We've been doing this for about what is it, 2025? For about 3 years now, right? I think.
Yeah. You going in. I remember when you first heard me, you was looking at me like, this nigga sound crazy than the.
Oh man, that first
and
show.
Then when you start seeing stuff coming to reality, you was like, man, what in the world? Where you come from?
I remember somebody sent me your stuff on Facebook, and I was like, yo, I gotta get this dude on my channel. I remember that's the first time I seen you. It was on. I don't think you wasn't on YouTube. You wasn't doing interviews.
I was on Instagram.
Yeah, you wasn't on YouTube. I actually bought Rod to YouTube, family. I said that before. And
Young Elder.
Yeah. What year Young Elder brought you to YouTube? What year was that?
Man, about 6 months before you.
Wow.
Me and Young Elder did a few shows already. By the way, he said he was under the weather. He's supposed to be doing something with you. And he told me to tell you that he was under the weather. He said, but as soon as he's feeling better, he gonna holler at you.
Got you. Yeah, we're gonna do a good one. We got a good one lined up. Shout out to Young Elder. We got a good one lined up, and he'll be on here probably within. He told me he wasn't feeling well, probably within the next week, y'all. So shout out to the brother, Young Elder.
I just sent him down so many rabbit holes.
Oh man, I could imagine.
He was like, Rod, how you put all that stuff together like that, man?
Yeah. Together. Rod, what message you want to leave the people with as we get out of here, Rod? What message you want to leave us with?
I already told him what to look for. Ain't nothing left to say, but watch it play out from here. Get your popcorn and don't participate in none of their shenanigans. Because they're gonna try to lure you in the street to protest, to riot, and all that. The ones that do it, let them do it. But don't, the ones that's wise, stay out them people way. The National Guard coming in because we got to get rid of these fake ass police. And the whole structure has to change. And you can't get rid of the police because we used to police so much that we need somebody on our side to replace them. But they not going to be playing. You know, they not going to be playing with nobody. So just stay out their way. Let them clean this stuff up. I'm be happy to get rid of the police. FTP. You know, that's my motto. So if they don't belong here, we don't need them here. They in the way. They the cause of the crime. You take away crime, what they gonna eat? What the prosecutor gonna eat? Right. What the defense attorney gonna eat? Take away crime, what the judge gonna do? Yeah. Well, we didn't have crime before they came. Right? We had people that made mistakes and we had elders that corrected them. That's that simple. We had people that made mistakes and elders that corrected them. Now, if your elder get caught correcting them, they can go to prison and be classified as a domestic terrorist for teaching people how to live on their own 2 feet. That's what Larry was in there for all this time. He wasn't in there for being no criminal. They said that the reason the original crime Larry Hoover went to prison for is because who he was so potent that the person who committed the crime was hypnotized by his presence and couldn't help himself.
Yeah, that is crazy.
That's retarded.
That is crazy.
They never said Larry gave the order. They never said he told them what to do, who to do it to, none of that. But the guy that did the actual shooting been out since the 90s. Right. But Larry, because they said his influence was so great, right? And since he was doing his fair time, the same law, the influence law that he was imprisoned has been repealed. They overturned the law that they used to send him to prison in the first place. Right? This is the same, the government creating the crime, lure you into it. That's entrapment. That's what Jeff Ford in there for. How you gonna try to buy a rocket launcher from prison, man? Make this shit make sense.
Crazy.
Right. And then it don't even work. And the people that's selling it is the government. That's called a entrapment. Lure me in with the bait, slam the gate. I can go on the political prisoner tirade for a whole 2 hours by itself.
I could imagine.
And naming names like Asada Shakur. Yeah. She ain't shot nobody. The police opened fire on them. She got shot. Right? You gotta remember, she's the only woman in the history of America that they put in a men's prison. Because they thought the men was gonna rape her to death, but they turned out to be her protectors. Right? So you gotta remember, these people is wicked. And no matter how wicked you think they is, you can't think wicked enough in order to grasp the depth of their wickedness.
You said that last time, man.
You can't lower your mind's darkness to that level unless you crack your mind. They wicked. And they do it all in the name of the law.
Hey, man, listen, with that being said, Rod, I want to thank you. I want to thank everybody. We had a packed house in here tonight. Shout out to all of y'all for coming in the chat tonight. Tuning in. What a show. Amazing show tonight. Make sure y'all share this show with your friends and family. That's real important. Hit the like button. Share it with as many people as you love as possible. I will be back Wednesday. I won't be on tomorrow, but I will be back Wednesday. So yeah, okay, yeah, they still talking about they sent you the cash. Yeah, send them brother Rod love. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, okay, that's what's up.
I appreciate it. I ain't used to being I ain't used to getting a whole lot of love, Rich.
Yeah, you know, that's how it is, man. You know, listen, I done seen it before. You know, the speakers come on my channel, and you know, that's my job. It's my job to do that and make sure y'all get the love. So, you know, I'm the, you know, Let me take care of that. Let me do the dirty work, and y'all sit back and relax and chill and do what y'all got to do. But I'll take care of that for y'all.
The thing that make it easy for me to not ask for money is my mama. My mama be in my ear. Everything not for sale, baby. Can't sell everything.
Yeah.
Right. And I always like to say my brother and sisters bought all them damn books. So they already paid for it.
Indeed.
So, you know. But hey, Brother Rich, one thing before I forget.
Mm-hmm.
I need you to send me a couple of them smaller cigars, man.
Got you. And I got you. Oh, okay. Another thing before, I'm glad you reminded me. Anybody who ordered already, because I put a hold on it because I got to re-up y'all, but I got you, Rod. Anybody who ordered it and didn't get it, because I sent out pretty much all of them. Yeah, somebody said do not call it dirty work. You are exactly right. Yeah. I'm doing the Lord's work. Let me say that. I'm doing the Lord's work. Yeah, I'm doing the Lord's work. If you already sent your donation to my PayPal, because I gave y'all specific PayPal and I didn't send it to you, hit me on the email and I'm gonna look into it. All right. Yeah, hit me on the email and I'm looking to it. But yeah, thank you, Inez. She's a supporter. I'm doing the Lord's work. And with that being said, Rob, man,
I think the Lord's work is the dirty work.
Hey, man, you
listen, it's the same as digging in the soil with your bare hands to plant a new seed. You're gonna get dirty.
Woo.
Just remember, you can take a bath at the end of the day.
Yeah. You know, they say when you play in the dirt, that increases your serotonin. They say.
Okay, then.
Yeah, they say that, and so you know.
Not only that, it also balances out your electromagnetic field.
Yeah. So this depression epidemic that we're under in the culture, people need to get outside in the dirt more. Rod, it's that simple, man.
Yeah, get outside. Period. You know, we didn't got used to living in these boxes.
Yeah.
Like, trained hamsters.
Yeah, it's sad. It's sad. The computer and just technology, we're just, we're stuck in front of the screen, man. But yeah, we changing all of that. With that being said, Rod, I'm gonna talk to you soon, brother, because I got to get you on Patreon again soon. I want to do something. I got an idea for the next show with you. So I want to talk to you about that. And so I'll give you a call probably tomorrow or the day after that, my brother.
For sure, brother Rich. Appreciate it, man. Appreciate it.
All right, peace, Rod.
Yeah.
Family, I will see y'all Wednesday, all right? Everybody have a good night. Thanks for tuning in.